That high school couples can love, and I think that married couples can love. I think that there's the difference is just time and experience and just what life, the experiences that life give you in between those two.
A couple in high school, they're sweethearts. I mean, it's legitimate love, infatuation. But with marriage comes other responsibilities. And to be in love with your spouse is the greatest thing in the world. But you have to be responsible to that person in the way that you're supposed to.
When you say I love you, I love you even though I've seen you in your least favorable light, whereas high school usually, all you see them is how they want you to see them. So it's two different loves. I think high school is more infatuation that might grow into love, whereas married, you hopefully have gone way past the infatuation level and have a much deeper connection.
I do think that there's different types of love. I think that when you are young and in high school, you are just experiencing the emotions of affections towards another human, and those emotions can be very strong and can be experienced for the first time. And so anything experienced in life for the first time has an overwhelming euphoric feeling.
And that only comes with marriage. In high school, sometimes you say I love you to more than one person, several times. Hopefully not, because it loses its impact if you say it too much.
Love is instantaneously, without even a thought, you'd give your life for that person. I'm going to guess high school romances are not always that deep.
As you age, you may love more than one person, and you certainly, whoever you do love, you gain experiences both positive and negative. And those negative experiences teach you how to deal with adversity, both in conflict, both between you and between your unit and other people.
I still see my wife in her wedding dress. I still see her on the dance floor looking like a princess. That's just how it has evolved into something that I could say is the sameness as the day we were married.
I'm not saying you have to be old to find that kind of deepness, but it often comes with living with someone year after year and keeping the connection, because that's what I think happens when couples are around each other too much. It goes the opposite direction. Instead, they have to work at keeping that excitement in there, but living day to day too.
As you age with a human being, you can recall both good and bad things, and it just makes, like, a very bad experience may happen, And because that person sticks beside you during that very bad situation, it's an indelible mark in your being, and that brands you and brands the two of you together, so that you feel a sense of loyalty to that person that you don't feel just because you like them or are attracted to them.
Or I tried to never say I love you when I didn't mean it. So every time I've said it, I've meant it. And I've said it only a few times. And I think if you do it legitimately, you're only going to say it a few times. By God's design, maybe you're just going to say it once.
I think that love shapes your life. It makes an indelible mark. I mean, your trust in your parents early on and the love that they provide for you give you confidence, give you a sense that the world is good or bad, because that is what you draw and go back to in trying times. If you don't have a very stable love relationship growing up, then I think you feel like the world is chaotic, and I think that you feel like the world doesn't have much love.
In essence, I think human beings, that's what we crave, that's what we need, that's what our soul searches, because I think that's what heaven is. It's pure love. It's just absolute total love. And I think as our weak human bodies, we are constantly searching for that.
You may have animosity towards the world in general, because your world is not secure. And so I think that early love between your family is very important and makes a stamp on you that carries you throughout your life. And then I think once you when you grow up and then give your heart to another human being, how they treat that and the decisions you make on who you give your heart to make a big difference on how you trust another person.
I think humans are more interested in acquiring knowledge, and animals are content to live in their surroundings and survive. So clearly, I mean, we're told that it's because of our brains and that separates, because we are seeking knowledge, that's what makes us unique species on the planet.
Human knowledge contributes to our happiness and our inquisitive nature, which I think is what drives us to seek knowledge.
I think all creatures are created to experience this grandiose love. Now humans, they just think we need to find stuff out. We're very curious creatures.
Well, I think that human beings are animals, and I think that the separation is the ability to reflect on what actions you do and how that action creates an equal and opposite reaction, and be able to cognitively look at that, write it down, and remember it, so the next time you come upon that situation you can respond similarly or very differently.
You know that dogs can be taught tricks, horses can be taught tricks, amazing tricks, things that horses and dogs just don't do. Humans are taught things that improve their condition.
The curriculum gives understand those experiences.
A set curriculum is what you take in college or in your schooling, however far that goes. That's a set curriculum. They can't teach you every aspect of what your career is going to be, but they can put you on the right path. It's when you start to work that you ultimately realize, I wasn't taught everything about this job.
There needs to be a base knowledge of a set curriculum, of basic things, and then those experiences will just add to. But you need to build a coat hanger to be able to then go out and see which coat you like and put it up there. So the experiences of your life, you're only able to categorize them based on a network or a paradigm or a schema or a structural component that you can then place that file into. But you've got to build that by creating some type of structure for learning and knowledge that's baseline.
Language teaching is an ideal way to demonstrate that, because you will learn. Say you want to go to Japan, you want to speak Japanese. If you move to Japan and surround yourself by only Japanese, you'll learn it. If you learn about it first, when you get there, your transition will be easy.
I think you learn every day something. And I think if you don't, I think your mind, the more routine that my life becomes, the less my mind is sharp.
I think you seek knowledge for a lifetime, and I think that if you don't, you're going to fall behind drastically. As fast as technology changes, if you don't stay on top of it, if you don't have that curiosity to know, well, how does that work? How can I use this? How will this make my life better? Then you can get behind.
You'll always be learning. That's every day the sun comes up, there's something else you're going to have to experience that you didn't experience yesterday. But I think some people become satisfied, I know enough about this. But we all have different interests. Like when you ask, can we know everything? No. I will continue to seek knowledge in the things that interest me. So now that there's all these things available and I've narrowed it to what I'm really interested in, well, that's where my focus is going to go.
The more you get into a rote, doing the same thing every day, the more one day blends into the next, and all of a sudden the year blends into the next, and then you have a decade where you don't have a lot of different things. It really stagnates your life. People will say evil or darkness ends happiness. I think that when some sort of Holocaust happens, where an evil human, for whatever reason, hates and kills and takes life for no reason, that throws our psyche off. It's difficult to explain, and so therefore it will end the happiness at that time. And unless it can be explained, unless it can be figured out, or unless there can be some sort of rationalization for why this is happening, then it can make life very miserable.
Tragedy, unforeseen tragedy, unexpected accidents, lack of preparedness, lack of knowledge and knowing that this could happen, this particular incident could happen if you're not careful.
Happiness can end based on taking away these very primal needs that are human, like food, like water, like rest, like security, safety. And when those are taken away, you might find something that you can laugh about, but sometimes it becomes difficult.
Sadness is around the corner. Sadness is in the form of losing someone. First, maybe it's the family pet. Then maybe it's a grandparent. And then realizing that we're not immortal.
I think happiness is a choice that you make, because life as you live it is a process, and it's a process of good and bad experiences, and everyone has good and bad experiences. Not anyone has just good experiences.
I think the happy forever is the part after you die. Once you make it to where God intends you to be with Him. But on earth, no. You will not be happy forever. You will not be unhappy forever either.
But there's no one that goes throughout all of life and does not have negative things. Everyone's loved ones die, and they die at crucial times, and you wonder why they're dying. You have to deal with that. Sometimes people's children die, and you wonder why that is. And if you go through that experience and you haven't had a lot of success or happiness early on, you may think, what is life about? Why am I here? I'm feeling bad now. But if you've had earlier experiences that are positive, that have been warm and fuzzy, then you can go back and say, I want that time. And hopefully you can live long enough so that the ache of what you're currently going through can heal enough so that you can experience a time when you were innocent, and a time when life was not complicated.
We can forget that we're mortal and celebrate life, which you should. But happiness doesn't last. It's not a constant stream. Happiness is a stream that's every once in a while diverted because of the tragedies and the realities of life. That's why
When something horrible happens, and it will, and it makes you feel like your soul has just fallen out of you, it will change. Happy will come back. But I think there's a balance of happy and unhappy on this planet. You can't live forever on this planet.
There's choices in the way that you look at any experience, positive or negative. And you can find unhappiness in a positive experience and really feel unhappy. And you can find happiness in a very negative experience and really truly feel that was a great thing that happened, even though it was terrible that it happened. And I truly believe that that is a choice that people make. Happiness is a choice.